Hello, my name is Indy. I've been a Jehovah's Witness. I've been trying to get this video put together for a couple of days now about the first sister that I said I would tell you about. I've been having a really hard time with this, and I couldn't figure out why. I actually ended up speaking to some friends over the phone. We were talking yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out why I'm having such a difficult time with this. And I thought maybe it was because there was other people I was forgetting from back when I was a witness, other sisters and stuff that had been a good influence, that maybe I was feeling guilty or something about that. When we were talking last night, I got so angry I broke a $700 phone. I just got so mad. But finally it clicked. This one sister, I couldn't come up with one time that I thanked her. I couldn't remember. And I think that's why I've been having so much problem with this. So today I did something really insane. And I went just nuts trying to find this lady's number. I don't know why I didn't think of just doing 411 on the computer. That probably would have been smarter. I had a lot of strange conversations with friends from the past today, because I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing, and they're all happy to hear my voice. Why don't you talk to us? Why haven't we heard from you? What are you doing? Are you okay? All the questions, and I got to beat around the bush to finally ask if they remember this lady and if they know how she's doing. And it's just been an insane morning. I finally called her, and I called her at work. She was at work, and I think she was quite concerned, maybe even a little put out. She really didn't know what this was about, and I just told her, I'm phoning to thank you because I can't remember thanking you for everything you did for us. And this sister is such a wonderful lady. She says, what did I do? I didn't really do anything. And I said to her, I said, you were the first and only one that went out of your way. You took me to the very first movie I went to, and it was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. She took a pile of us kids to this movie. You're the one that showed me the very first video at home, rented a movie and showed it to us, and that was E.T. It's just a kid, and she rented E.T. for us, and she didn't remember this. She says, I have all these pictures of you. Do you want some pictures? Do you want me to get out the pictures? And I said, no, sister, I don't want to get you in trouble, and I know you're not supposed to be talking to me. And she says, that's okay. This is such a wonderful lady. When I heard her voice, she's older now, I could hear it in her voice. What a wonderful woman. To this day, she's a wonderful lady. But I bet she's got some weird thoughts going through her head today after that phone call. I don't think I've ever done anything like that before. But if I didn't do that, I don't think I'd be able to make this video right now. Man, I'm a nut. There is something truly wrong with me. But I feel better now, and I think I can tell this story. I would never have had this sister in my life if it hadn't been for a horrible tragedy. The brother that she married, he was already married to another lady, and his father was the head elder at the time when I was a kid, when we first moved there, and he provided the land for the Kingdom Hall. He owned the property all around there. His house was across the street. He owned the house next to the Kingdom Hall. He was strong in the faith, and it's his son that's married to this sister. At that time, he was married to another sister, and I guess he forgot his lunch at home, and she was running it to work for him in the neighboring community, and there was a car accident, and this sister died. I was very young, around 6 years old, 5 years old, and it was the first funeral I ever went to. I knew both their children. his daughter and his son. His daughter was actually pretty close to my age. I know, honey. I know. I'll play with you in a bit. His daughter was close to my age, but I didn't know the son very well because he was a couple of years younger. And I remember that everything that happened at that time very, very clearly. It was, death. You've never experienced death before. And I couldn't understand why Jehovah would take these children's mommy, right? And I'm trying not to say names. The names keep trying to come out of my mouth, but I'm trying to stop myself before I say the names. And I remember asking my mother about why Jehovah took their mommy. And my mother couldn't answer that for me, well, at least not well enough that it made any sense. So I asked my father. And my father went into this spiel about having faith and Jehovah knows what he's doing. Our minds are too small to understand it. There's a bigger picture. She'll be brought back after Armageddon. And just a pile of stuff that a kid's too, it just doesn't have enough programming in them yet to even come close to understanding. I remember going to the funeral. I remember everything that was happening. Everybody was upset. She was a nice lady. I didn't know her that well. I was just a kid, but she was a nice lady. I remember the brother now had 2 children to take care of, and everybody's cooking and taking food over and everything, trying to help him out. But all of a sudden, they disappeared. The 2 children and the brother disappear. They were gone for a while. And then all of a sudden, I think it was the Thursday night meeting, the brother comes back and he has a new sister with him. And this sister, I can see her right now. I can see her right now. That first time I met her. She had this big smile. She had 3 little boys with her. One of them was actually pretty close to my age, about a year younger. But she had 3 boys. She had long red hair, curly red hair, this giant smile. She was a beautiful lady. Beautiful lady. But personality-wise, because I didn't know about, everybody's mommy's the prettiest mommy in the world to them, right? So it wasn't that way. It was just, she had this real spirit, this wonderful spirit. And she was very outgoing, and I liked her right from the moment I met her. We were in the car on the ride home, and I remember my mother was grilling my father about who this woman was and where did he meet her, and they were, we didn't know anything about them getting married or anything. Like, I don't recall anybody saying anything, but I sure remember all the questions my mother, riding my father all the way home. This, that, and the other thing. My father didn't know anything, right? Nobody knew much. It's their personal business, right? But in the Jehovah's Witness organization, everybody's got to know everybody's business. I remember this sister, she was a good witness, she was a good mother. I remember there at all the meetings, out in field service. Like, she's very active, she's very outgoing, caring. She wanted to interact. She initiated contact with everybody. I remember inviting people over for dinner and stuff. But the one thing that I remember the clearest was all the gossip and whispering and judging going on. My mother, there's cliques in the Jehovah's Witnesses. It's all about cliques. The further up the food chain you are, the better your clique. The elders' wives actually seem to have the power when it comes to each congregation. And my mother, there was 2 main groups back then that I remember, and my mother was in both of them. And, because she was just the way she was after the nervous breakdown, she was always smiling, always nice, and both sides used to, vie for her attention or whatever, but they both would be inviting her back and forth to to their little groups, right? And my mother just smiled and agreed with everybody, so I guess that worked out for them. But they accepted my mother, whereas they weren't very nice about this sister. I remember all the things they used to say about her. You know, they just didn't take her in. Like, you know, this is supposed to be Christians. These are supposed to be Christians. This is a Christian organization. We're supposed to be loving. But what I remember from it was they always found fault in this lady. Always. Everything she did, they found fault in. I don't know if they had the guts to say it to her. I doubt it. You know, but they're always whispering behind her back. And I remember going over to their house for dinner because his sister was very outgoing. I think she's the only sister that sat down with me when I was a kid and asked me how I was doing. You know, when I got in trouble, she was the only sister that encouraged me to do better and to listen to the elders, and they just want what's best for you. Like, she was a strong in the faith witness, but all the elders' wives and all of them were all negative, and she was not strong the way they talked. You know, all the time it was all this negativity. And this lady I told you took us to the movies. You know, she rented movies for us, whatever. But each time, each event, like going to the theater, I remember when we went there, my father had given us money and to pay for our tickets and stuff. And this sister, she packed little baggies of popcorn for all of us, you know, because she had 6 children to take care of. Her 3, plus the brothers 2, and then they had one together. And, you know, and when I paid for the tickets, what I remember real clear about that one in, you know, that one situation there, that incident, whatever, going to the movies. But what I remember the clearest was I paid for the tickets. My sister wanted all this stuff, but my little sister wanted all this stuff. But this sister said, you know, after we paid for it, she said, I brought all this stuff, and I didn't want to insult her because she's a very nice lady. And I bought my sister a pop. I don't think I got anything, because she'd done all this work. She had a big bag of Twizzlers, and, you know, she brought candies and stuff, everything you'd buy at the theater to save the money. And she said to me, she said, you should use that money for Jehovah's work, to do Jehovah's work, save the money, right? Like, she was strong and a good witness, and all I heard was negativity behind her back, and it bothered me. The ignorance of these people just amazes me. When we get back from the movie, everybody got grilled. All the kids, she took all these kids from the witnesses, all their kids, right? All the ones allowed to go. And I know all the kids got grilled the same. What movie did you see? And then they get on the phones, all the wives get on the phones. Oh, it was PG, and there might have been cuss words, you know, and they're berating her choice in movies she took us to. They knew what movie we were going to when we left. With E.T., when we went over to see E.T. at the house, there was a few different kids from different houses, all Jehovah's Witnesses, and I know it was the same thing again. E.T. was an evil freaking show. Like, everything was evil, and it's twice as evil when this sister did it. You know, because they just had to find fault in her. And you know what I realized after my mother died? I remember seeing this sister where she worked, where I got a hold of her today. She's a beautiful woman, like physically beautiful. You know, I think it was jealousy. I honestly believe it was jealousy that this brother went and brought back this beautiful woman from across the line. And she was a really nice person, and everybody seemed to like her. And I'm certain that the reason they were doing all this, all the years I was there, all this whispering, all this negativity about this sister, was because they were jealous of her. But this sister never broke. You know, that's why I remember her so clearly. That's why she had such an effect on me. She never broke. She just kept going on and on. Her husband, a wonderful man. You know, he's intelligent. His father was the head elder when they got married. He provided land, everything. I told you that. But the brother had one issue. He stuttered. And you know, people, if you know anybody that stutters, when you put them into a stressful situation, the stutter gets worse. His father wanted him to be an elder. I'm sure this sister, his wife, his new wife, wanted him to move up in the organization, in the corporation. But every time he got up on stage, his stutter got so bad, it was painful for us in the audience. It hurt seeing how hard it was for him. And it was so difficult. But this brother kept trying. I remember being at the house and him working on his little talks and stuff that they wanted him to do. And he's working on, and this sister was always encouraging him. You know, I didn't hear her ever berate him. She, a wonderful lady, just a wonderful lady, unlike a lot of other things I witnessed as a child. You know, the sisters wanted their husbands to move up in the organization, the corporation. You know, everybody wants to move up to do a bigger job for free, you know, get used even harder. And the harder you're getting used for nothing, you know, for this paradise thing they've promised you, the happier they seem to be. No, 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 no. These people just get worse. They're miserable, angry people that just want to hurt others. I was smart enough to be able to just stand back and watch, but inside of me, it just ate at me. You know, the honesty wasn't there, the love wasn't there. It was just atrocious behavior that I was programmed was acceptable behavior. By being around it all the time, you think, well, this is how the world works, right? And I question myself all the time. Why am I the way I am? Yesterday I put up a video, and I was having so much problem with this getting to this sister's story. I was having so many problems trying to get that video done, and I've done this video so many times now. This is the first time it's actually starting to feel right. You know, I'm probably going to publish this one. You know, I'm going to put this video up. None of the other ones, I'll just delete them all. I'm not going to do any weird picking thing to put a video up, because this feels right, finally feels right. This is why this sister was the one I needed to talk about and I needed to start with, because this was the first sister in my life that I realized was a really good person. I realized today that she's actually a physically beautiful person. You know, when you're a kid, you don't look at other people's mommies like that, and everybody thinks their mommy's the prettiest. I'm sorry, this is a very long video. I'm going to have to stop it here, and I'll fill in whatever I missed later. I'm going to have to watch this to see what I said. But I'm sorry it took so long, and I hope you're all doing well. You know, if there's anything I can do to help someone, please let me know. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.